2 weeks into living in Japan, and I realized where you live matters more than I thought. Not in a bad way, just more than I expected. Okay, so before I came here, I really jumped into this idea of a social resonance. I don't know why I thought I'd make friends immediately and everything, because that didn't happen. But I also saw that it was a 1 hour commute, and I thought, that's not that bad. I could do it. I could not do it. Waking up extra early with anxiety, not knowing whether or not that I could get on the train, or waking up not knowing if I was gonna get squished that day. It turns out to be not chill. Not chill at all. So, I moved. It seemed like a no-brainer, because whenever I'm out, just knowing that it takes me an hour to get back home, it just makes me want to get home immediately. I don't even want to be out for too long, because I got a 1 hour commute. And then I got a 1 hour commute in the next morning for class. Not chill. Not chill at all. Now this place is, compared to Hirai, is pretty different. It's bustling. It's got a lot of people moving around, a lot of shops. Things are definitely a little more expensive here. Things are much faster here. And best of all, I'm only 30 minutes away from pretty much everything. Huge life changer. So immediately I'm like, this might be it. I think I'm committed to this area. The rent is higher, the apartment is smaller, but the convenience. So whenever you move places in Japan, you kind of have to re-register your address to the new local ward. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this, easy peasy, get this done. I'm like, I've been through this, so it should be a walk in the park. I go in there, and the gentleman that's helping me, he's asking me for some kind of document. He's like, did the other ward place give you this document? Now, they gave me a bunch of documents when I finished it the first time, but I was like, I don't know, did I throw it out? Is it at home? I don't know. I'm gonna go look for it when I go home, and I'm gonna come back. He's like, yeah, sure. So I go back home. I don't have it. I do some Googling, AI search, and it turns out there's a transfer certificate that you have to get from your old local ward. So before you move out, you gotta ask them to give you a transfer certificate so that you can re-register it. But my old place is an hour away. So I'm like, I'm determined to get this done right now. I don't want to deal with this anymore. So I book it to the train station, get there, go over there, get this transfer certificate, then take the train back, and I run and book it back to this new local ward and get that thing done. And the guy, he seemed pretty surprised. He was like, oh, you found it? I'm like, nah. He saw the date, it was today. He's like, wait, you just, oh, I get it now. You ran there and got it. I think he was impressed, but I got it done. Got that shit done. But here's a visual representation of me that day. So I'm kind of getting back into a routine now that I got a bunch of my errands done. I signed up for the gym. I signed up for Anytime Fitness, which is pretty cool because there's a bunch scattered in Tokyo, and I get to go to them all. Oh, and they do this thing that's pretty different. They do reservation times on a board, and I have to get used to military time. Military time is pretty practical until you look at an actual clock and realize there is no 14 o'clock. I know I'm just complaining about stupid things, but I'm staring at the board doing math every time. So you can only do like 20-minute maximum time reservations for a machine. Turns out kgs are a little heavier than I thought. I don't know why I always thought like pounds were just 20% more, like number-wise. Turns out it's almost double. I'm around like 150 pounds now. And I'm usually between 150 to 160, so I'm pretty much on the lower end of my range. And I think it's been a whole lot of stairs. I'm totally loving my new 30-minute commute to class. I get to sleep in a little bit more. And best of all, the train I'm in is no longer max capacity, no longer very crowded. Now I'm getting used to things here. I'm doing laundry. I still have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm pushing buttons, I'm figuring things out. And yet the dryer here is pretty bad. So I had my clothes in the dryer, and then someone put their clothes in the washer after me, so I felt super pressured to be finished soon. So I took my stuff out of the dryer a little early. It was already in there for an hour, but it was still very wet. And my room ended up like this. I hope that person appreciates what I did for them. Also, it was probably a big mistake that I put too much clothes in that dryer. Lesson learned. I'm still out here learning from my mistakes. You know, I have this mentality of being very open to making mistakes. Like, I just feel like sometimes I have to make my own mistakes. You know, people can tell me not to do certain things, but I won't really learn it until I make the mistake myself. When I have kids, that's the philosophy I'm gonna go for with them. Yeah, I'm still going to volleyball. It's nice. I'm meeting some people there. I met this guy named Sho. He's actually Japanese, but he studied English for like 10 years, so his English is really good. We exchanged lines. They use Line out here, and Instagrams. I don't know if I'm ever gonna see him again, but he seemed like he wanted to be my friend. And honestly, out here, I just want a friend who wants to be my friend, so I can actually be myself. Oh, I gotta tell you guys about this story. So, I was playing TFT, it's a game, whatever, right before volleyball, and I was gonna be late, so I rushed and I left early, and I forgot my wallet. So I'm here at that volleyball session. I'm looking at the host like, oh my god, I'm about to tell him I don't have money. And I did tell him. And he looked like he wanted his money. And I know he was definitely not wanting to hear me say, I'll get you next week, because I'm registered for next week. He was stressed. You know, the thing is like, you almost can't digitally pay anybody in Japan if you're like a foreigner. Like, so there's Line Pay that got discontinued, so I can't use that. There's like a Rakuten Pay and a PayPay app, but they're only available for like Japanese phones, so I couldn't even download them. So I'm asking this guy, is there any way I could pay him? And he's just like, yo, find a way. And I'm thinking like, damn, am I about to commute back and take an hour, like 30 minutes back home and to get my wallet? And I was stressing out about it. But thankfully, in the gym, I overheard someone speak English, and I was like asking him, does he have like a Venmo or like a Zelle that I could pay him? And he didn't look like he wanted to do it at first, but then he very graciously did it. One thing I realized being here is that no one has a reason to trust me. I am a stranger. Like, I have no support system here, no one to vouch for me, no friend to borrow money from. Anyone who takes a chance on me is literally a leap of faith. Like, they're just doing it out of the kindness of their heart. And that man, his name is Danny. I appreciate you. Thank God that he spoke English too, because I don't even know how I could try to convince someone in a foreign language to give me money for free or lend me money for free. Man, that was freaking tough. Here's a visual representation of how I felt that day. I also met this other guy named Jack from a volleyball session. He's here for his like PhD or something, and he's been taking these private lessons, and they've actually improved him a lot over 6 months. And I don't know why I never thought of that. I never thought of taking more classes to improve my Japanese. I was like, why don't I do that? So I asked him about it, and I got a referral, 10% off my first payment, and now I'm taking more private one-on-one classes to hopefully like get myself to speak more, because in class I have like 20 other classmates. I don't really get to speak much, so these private classes are really a time for me to like use my Japanese, so that's nice. So I used to kind of like just write people off immediately. Like, since I had my own circle of friends, I was really a lot more standoffish to new people. But now that I'm kind of like on my own here by myself, like, I get it. I feel really open to people now, and like, I kind of feel bad that I used to do that. And I hope I'm not like that when I eventually return back to New York City. You know, it really doesn't matter where I'm living. I'm still gonna run into the same problems. Like,
what am I even doing?
Who am I? What do I really want? Am I really gonna go out to this by myself? Am I really gonna enjoy it? What should I even do today? What should I even eat? You know, like, how do I use this fucking laundry machine? Like, I'm put into situations that I've never been in. And it really makes me reflect on what I like, what I don't like, who I am in these situations. Yeah, my Japanese still sucks. As for being a regular at a restaurant, it's kind of hard to do that. There's just so many places to eat that, like, it's hard to go to the same place twice. It was probably actually a lot easier at my old place, where it was more quaint and quiet and local, but I guess that's past me now. I did go to this Indian spot, and I had really good chicken there. And I met the guy, his name was Kendall, and he seemed to like me. I'm definitely gonna go back again. Generally, I'm meeting a lot of people here. A lot of them are foreigners, and a lot of them are in their 20s. And I'm 32. And every now and then, I do the math, and I think, holy crap, there's a literal teenager in between our ages. Sometimes I'm kind of involuntarily keeping my distance a bit, which is kind of unfortunate, because everyone's really nice. No one really makes me feel old. I just kind of do it to myself, I guess. Like, I don't know. And I don't really hang out with 20-year-olds that much. This is like the first time most of my friends back in New York are around my age. So doing that is kind of like it's kind of interesting to see that like their perspectives on life, and it makes me reflect a lot about where I want to go from here. So I read a comment from Bob in my first video about managing stress. I try not to think too much about the stress, and like especially for restaurants, sometimes I just walk into the one that does look good, and that really does help. So appreciate you, thanks man. Although now that I've got the errands done, I've been doing a lot more thinking, and I kind of just feel like everything is moving around me here, and I'm not a part of it. I feel like I haven't really been 100% me around anybody, and I don't feel fully seen yet. And back in New York, I kind of had a bunch of friends to keep me company, so I never really felt the need to have a significant other. But now, it's the climb.